Okay, Bill.
My name is Bill Foster. I'm a scientist, I'm a businessman, and I'm a Democrat running for a Democratic seat in the U.S. Congress. I am running to change the direction of this country, and I am running because I believe that I can deliver that change more effectively than any other candidate in this race. As a scientist, I worked for 22 years at Fermi National Accelerator Laboratories. During that time, I was involved in some of the great scientific discoveries at Fermi Lab. I was involved in the discovery of the top quark and other important scientific discoveries. Later, I was involved in building the giant machines at Fermi Lab. The most recent of the giant machines at Fermi Lab was actually one that I invented and led the teams that built it. And as you can see in my scientific career, I have also worked hard to change things for the better. Before I was a scientist, I was a businessman. When I was 19 years old, my little brother and I started a company in our basement. And that company now makes over 70% of all of the theater lighting equipment in the United States. And our company provides hundreds of good jobs with good pay and good benefits right here in the Midwest. And that's something I'm very proud of. And it's something unique in this field of candidates, that I have created jobs and kept them for 30 years in the Midwest. That's not an easy point or a trivial point these days. We are all aware that there's a well-oiled machine out there that offshores our jobs. There are consulting firms out there that will come in, they will photograph your assembly line, they will build you a factory with 50-cent an hour labor in some Chinese city you've never heard of, and they will do your manufacturing for half of the cost that you can in the United States. And for 30 years, my little brother and I have known well about those offers, that possibility, that way to make more money at the expense of the American worker, and for all that time we've said no. And that tells you a lot about how I will represent you in Washington, D.C. I grew up in a very progressive, strong Democratic family. My father was a civil rights lawyer who wrote a lot of the enforcement language behind the Civil Rights Act of 1964. And that is real change for millions of people throughout this country. And that is one of the reasons that Barack Obama can be running for the presidency. And I'm very, very proud of that. My father and mother met on Capitol Hill when my father worked for a senator from Pennsylvania, and my mother worked for Senator Paul Douglas of Illinois. He's one of the heroes to most of the people who are involved in labor and involved in democratic politics back then. I find one of the least useful things in politics these days is the use of labels. You know, you can hear people chanting labels of various kinds. It's not a useful thing. If I had to attach a label to myself, I would be a Paul Simon Democrat. Because, you know, I grew up with my parents driving around in a rusty Studebaker with a Bill Proxmire for Senate sign. And for a generation, Bill Proxmire and Paul Simon represented the face of progressive politics in this country, the Midwest. And they, both of them, knew well that to succeed at progressive goals, you have to balance the budget. You have to control government waste. And if I get attacked as being part of a large group of people that believes that you have to control government spending in a rational way to succeed at progressive goals, I'll take that heat. Anyway, I think we're better off at this point than questions. You guys have heard, you know, about me more than once. You know, for example, that my real name is not really Bill Foster, it's George William Foster, but as most of you know, running for office as George W. Anything is a really useful plan, so I'm Bill Foster, I'm running to change this country for the better.
All right, good job, fellas. Okay, I'm going to start questioning. A different series, and we have a whole bunch of questions to ask. So I do ask you to stick with the timer, because it's going to go around. It's going to be 2 minutes each. Each person is going to be asked the same question, because it's only fair that they get a chance to respond. I'm not going to do any attacks. We want to keep this peaceful. My hope here is to, whoever wins this nomination, they're going to stick together at the end. We take the 14th district, because I predict that we will take that district.
Yep.
So, I predict that we win the district, but I need you guys to, after this is done, to stick together and come here the day after election, meet me here, and we can, have like a unity breakfast. How about that? How does that sound? Does that sound good to you
I'll
guys?
pay for it.
Okay? All right,
Breakfast
good
and
deal?
eggs. Breakfast and eggs.
Okay, so we're shaking on it here. All right? All right, there we go. Okay. Here we go. Start with the question.
My name is John Lash. I approve this message.